got it. We're moving forward. How far off is that clock? We need to, yeah, it's about a minute. We need to reset that every week because it's not saying. Morning. Excellent. I'm Reverend Susie. Glad to have you with us. You too. Good to have you here.
Yeah, he's at Washington, D.C.
Ah, okay. Cool. Hi. It's the birthday boy. You don't look any older. You don't look a day over. Hello. Hi, guys. I didn't I asked her to turn this off. United. Because right, so united it.
Good morning, Unity of Sarasota. It's a pleasure to be with you and to share with you and sing for you too. We're going to start off with John Assen's Morning Light. Wake to the beauty of God, shining within and without. Wake to the sun, wake to the sky, love dancing in your eyes. Wake to the beauty of life, shining within and without. Wake to the clouds in the sky, and love dance dancing in your eyes. Wake to the truth, wake to the light, wake to yourself in the morning light. Wake to the truth, you are the light. Wake to yourself in the morning light. Wake to the beauty of peace, shining within and without. Wake to the blue of the sky, love dancing in your eyes. Wake to the truth, wake to the light, wake to yourself in the morning light. Wake to the truth, you are the light. Wake to yourself in the morning light. Wake to yourself in the morning light. Wake to yourself in the morning light.
Thank you, Rob. And one of my favorite composers, John Aston. It's a good thing, a little cloud cover, so good thing he brought the morning light, don't you think? Yeah, yeah. And that's not John Aston of the Addams Family fame. It's a different John Aston. Very different John Aston. Very talented musician, and he's like a, what is he? He's like an astrophysicist also. Cosmic, all kinds of, the guy's brilliant. You know, it's amazing how some of us are gifted with so many talents. Isn't it incredible? And so are we, because we are the light. So mind your talents. Mind your talents. Ah, yeah. Ooh. I'm Reverend Dr. Susie Shadle. I welcome you to Unity of Sarasota, where something good is always happening. And so this morning it's happening right where we are, where we're bringing our energy right here, but it's also happening as the folks that are watching on the live stream at home bring their energy. So let's say hi to those guys. Hey, thanks for being here, and thanks for joining your energy with ours. If you happen to be a guest or a newcomer here for the first time, would you please stand, and we'd like to find out where you're visiting from. Anybody visiting from?
Please stand.
Yeah. Excellent. There you go. Terrific. Thank you. Welcome home. Welcome home. And Peg has a gift for you. It's a shell necklace, which obviously is indicative of the beautiful beaches we have here in Florida. But each shell represents the love that we individually are. And when we string them together, we create a community of love. So welcome. Welcome home. We appreciate you being here. Washington, D.C. Did you clean things up there before you left? Okay. And so now he's here. Yeah. Okay. We pray for Washington, D.C. all the time, right? Okay. I've got somebody waving wildly at me for some reason that I am not connecting with. Are you visiting with us for the first time as well? In the black? People are pointing and saying you're visiting with it. Okay. This is what, you got a big fanfare, so you must be really something. So where are you visiting us from? Excellent. Welcome home. All right. Way to go. We've got a necklace for you as well. Thank you for being here. All right. Okay, Eastern Seaboard moving down. That's good. That is good. If you did not pick up a welcome packet on your way in, please do so on the way out. And clipped to that welcome packet is a welcome card, and we'd love it if you would fill that out so that we can get to know you a little bit better and you can get to know us a little bit. We would appreciate that. And you can either leave it in the lobby there or in one of the offering baskets, and we appreciate it. So we're glad that you're here with us. It's wonderful having all of you here to celebrate together this Sunday morning. And just know that wherever you may be on your spiritual journey, you are welcome to journey with us because it makes the journey more powerful and more fun when we do it together. Our board member of the day just stepped out. Okay, I'm doing really well so far this morning. I've got this, I've got the board member left. Okay. We pick a Sunday every month where we just let everything go haywire and get it out of our system. So this must be it. There she is, Miss America. Peg Beck is our board member of the day. She also happens to be the president of our board of trustees, and she will be out in the sanctuary lobby after the service if you have questions or things you'd like to find out, and she will probably venture down that way toward the bookstore and all of the fellowship hall and whatnot as well. But this is Peg Beck, and thank you for your service, Peg. Our board meetings are fourth Thursdays every month at 7 p.m. They are open. However, if you want to participate, you need to let us know at least a week in advance so we can get you on the agenda. Okay, so we are a beacon of light and love, opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. This is who we are individually and collectively here at Unity of Sarasota. And we're an inclusive spiritual community that embraces empowering and life-affirming practical spirituality for richer living right here and right now in our lives. And we join with our Unity movement worldwide in creating a world that works for all. And so we ask that you join us in that endeavor because we think it's a good one. So please hold that high consciousness with us. We have a few invitations for your participation. Since we're now having in-person gatherings, we're starting to gear up and add more things. So we've got some of those things coming up. In the meantime, we are doing everything we can to be healthy and safe so that we don't have to close our doors again and do everything online. And so we ask that you wear masks while you're in the building, that you distance, certainly sit with the people you live with or your pod, but put some distance between you and the next party. We ask that you not hug and touch, but rather namaste, so that we stay safe. And that I've stopped asking for you to not sing out loud. I just asked you to sing softly into your mask. And I've even put the lyrics back so that you can. I know when I'm beat. And we have sanitizers everywhere. Please use them liberally. And we do sanitize throughout the building. And we have upgraded our filtration system as well for greater safety. Got some exciting news as well. David Hawkins, chaplain and licensed Unity teacher, and I will be teaching the 12 Powers class starting Monday the 25th. So it'll be Mondays, the 25th, and then the 1st, the 8th, and the 15th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Out in the lobby is a flyer that has a sign-up sheet at the bottom of it, so individual sign-up. There's plenty of them out in this lobby. There are also some in the bookstore. And so what I would ask that you do, because we're tight on time, and the reason we're tight on time is I want to be done well before Thanksgiving so that I don't make you eat turkey with me here. Although that's not a bad idea for me. I get fed, but we want to get you done in time for Thanksgiving. So what I would ask is if you're interested in the class, it's on a love offering basis, and this will probably be the last time in a while that it'll be offered as a love offering, and it'll have a price tag next time. So take advantage of me this one time. I'm giving you that permission. Do sign up today, please, and hand the flyers to me. Give me the flyers, because I want to get going on this thing, and I would love to have a bunch of you in there, because I think it's going to be a fun class. Right, David? Am I right? To the 12th power. All right, so sign up for that class. I would love to have you in it. It's going to be fun. Also, we have a class this coming Saturday, the 23rd, called The Power of Choosing Peace, and there are flyers out there for you to take a look at. It's by, this amazes me, attorney Paul Cardillo, but he's a very spiritual guy. He does some really wonderful work, so this may be something you're interested in as well, and that's on Saturday, the 23rd. Also, I've been asking that you dress for Halloween. I love this. Robin came up with this idea. Move over, COVID, there's a new mask in town. And so I'm asking that you dress up, and we're going to have a little contest, and there will be prizes in the bookstore. Our bookstore managers are right there. Stand up for a moment. John and Jerry Linigan, our bookstore managers. They've got some wonderful things going on in the bookstore. Check it out today. And there will be prizes for the costumes. So we all get to act like a bunch of kids, which will be really wonderful fun. I love when I have permission to act like a kid. It's a cool thing, right? All right, so I think that takes care of that. We do ask that you, yes, there is one more thing. I knew it, and I knew you wouldn't let me get away with it. Halloween, we're not only dressing up, but we want to suck your blood. We have a blood drive. Betty, stand up again. Betty has arranged all of this with the blood bank for us, and she's got information, and she's got a sign-up sheets, and if you don't sign up, she'll probably just grab you anyway. So you may as well, there's no getting past Betty. So we did really well last time on the blood drive. We were very, very successful, and we gave enough blood for 39 people last time. So let's do it again, all right? Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Betty. So she'll be there after service signing you up. All right. Terrific. And I think that really is.
Ready for me?
I think I might be, Rob. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel is already here. Is already there is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me, there's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, a soft gaze perhaps at the flame of the candle or It's beautiful grounds outdoors. Let's take a deep breath right into the center of your being. Let it fill your heart space. And then release the breath fully. And again, breathing in deeply to the center of your being where Father, Mother, God, Spirit resides within. And as you breathe out, know that Father, Mother, God resides all around. Continuing to breathe in deeply and exhale fully reminds us that we are always in the divine flow of the goodness of God. A reminder that Spirit is as close as our next breath. Each time we breathe in, it is the in-breath, the inspiration of Spirit, the experience of God. And each time we breathe out our own unique and individualized expression of the One. And while we express in a multitude of diversity, we remain one in the unity of all life, all creation. For there is only one. That one is Father, Mother, God, Spirit. That one is you. That one is me. For we are the one. We are the one. For this remembrance of the truth of our being and our willingness to live in, through, and as that truth in all that we are, all that we think, all that we say, and all that we do, I am eternally grateful. And so it is, and together we say, thank God within and all around us. Amen. Let's do our statement of being. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, who is perfect life, perfect intelligence, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. You are an individualized expression of God. We are individualized expressions of God.
Earlier, but it's not on now. Something changed it. Here we go. Holy and true, no matter what you're going through, you are holy and true. Darkness rolls in like thunder, but you've seen this movie before. Same old spell, you're falling under, going round and round, that we've all been before. Should use a soul vacation, I could sometimes little room to breathe. Sometimes you remember the combination that would set you free, so you could see that you are holy and true. Holy and true you are, no matter what you're going through, you are holy and true. It's a crazy situation to wake up so far from home. There's got to be an explanation, a good reason why you feel so alone. Everyone's got their own demons, thoughts we hold on to, secret fears. When it comes time to meet them, all the clouds drift away, and it's so clear to see that we are holy and true. Holy and true, oh yeah. No matter what you're going through, you are, yeah, yeah, holy and true. Nice to know that, isn't it? Nice to know that. Holy and true.
Woohoo! Holy and true.
Holy.
You are. If you don't believe it, I'm going to make him play that again. So, own it. What are you? You got it. All right. Excellent. Let's begin, as we always do, with our core value affirmation. Will you please say this with me? We embody Christ consciousness and live from the awareness that God is within and all around us because we are holy and true. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, my talk series for October is Live the Life You Love to Live. So far, we looked at the first week, the journey of awakening. And the journey of awakening is an invitation to transform from who we are not into who we truly are, to be who we've come here to be, and to do what we've come here to do out of that beingness. Last week, we talked about the power of choosing to cut a new groove, We got our groove back, only we got a new groove back when we did it. And what we focused on was the power to choose new thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that then create a brand new life experience for each of us, for all of us, for the one of us. And today, we're going to explore how employing should is playing little God. Now, you see up there, this should have worked. This should have happened, or this shouldn't have happened. So we have a lot of shoulds and shouldn'ts in our lives. Now, please tell me I'm not the only one who's ever experienced that, because otherwise I'm just going to go in the back and talk to myself. Anybody else? I suspected as much. Tevye, the fiddler on the roof, said, "Life is like a fiddler on top of a roof, trying to eke out a simple tune while simultaneously trying not to fall off the roof." Ever feel like that? Yeah, okay. Each of us has been gifted with our own special music in us, our true being, our divine and authentic essence. It is the gift of who you truly are. And it is a gift that was given us by Spirit itself. And we are called to give the gift by living it, by living the music of our soul. We're here to discover what that unique music is for each of us, and to experience it and to express it as fully as we possibly can. Whatever you do, do not die with your music left in you. Do not leave it unplayed within you. You know, many people, unfortunately, do leave their song unsung. They're consumed by outside distractions and by literally living from the outside in instead of the inside out. And that's upside down, sort of backwards living from the outside in, thinking that pulling in things from outside is going to make us whole. It's the other way around. We're already whole. And so as we live from the inside out, we literally change the cosmos. We make life better on every level. It's in here first, and then out there. You know, as Tevye was trying to say, that we're playing the fiddle and we're hanging on to the roof, we're having both a spiritual experience and a human experience simultaneously. And so often we get so caught up and consumed in the human experience that we forget that we're having a spiritual experience. We forget that we are spiritual beings, number one, having a human experience. We're not human beings first, and then, oh, if I have some time left over, maybe I'll get to the spiritual experience. Flip it, other way around, inside out, inside out. You know, sometimes I think we lay down the fiddle and we give all of our energy to hanging on to the roof. We grasp tightly to who it is that we're not, rather than living who it is that we are. We hang on to the roof. We hang on to that human experience. We hang on to mistaken thinking, to false beliefs, to unconscious choices and patterns of behavior. We hang on. I've used this analogy before. You know, sometimes our hanging on is about the last thing we should do. When I was little, not that little, I was 12, I was learning water ski. And so I'm hanging on to the thing, and I get up, and I'm skiing all around, having a good old time, and then the inevitable, which always happens, you fall. And my instinct was to hang on to the rope. And so I'm being dragged through the wake of the boat, and pretty soon I'm not being able to breathe, and I'm running out of air, and I'm thinking, wow, is this all there is? And suddenly my life flashed before me. It didn't take long because I was only 12, so it was, I was like, wow, okay. That's a bummer. And then I just got so weak I couldn't hang on anymore. I let go of the rope, and guess what? I'm bobbing up and down. I'm still here. So sometimes hanging on is not the smartest thing to do, because we hang on to things that maybe don't serve us, things that maybe hold us back. And the reality is that most of us will hang on until we are pushed by pain or pulled by a vision to give us the courage to stop for a moment and reevaluate what's going on in here. And then, more profoundly, to listen deeply within and catch Spirit's vision for our life. And better yet, then to seize that opportunity to re-choose and to recreate our life experience more in alignment with God's idea of who we are and what we're called to be. Tevye, while fiddling on the roof, discovered that life is a balancing act. So I'm not saying do away with your human experience. This would not be a good idea at this point in your life. So I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying, pay attention, be conscious of how you're balancing the human and the divine within you and all around you. Because the reality is, we must hang on to the roof. We must, while we're here, have a human experience. When, as I like to say, when you see me into the ethers, throw a party. But until then, I'm still having a human experience as well. And we want to do it the best that we can, right? Because if we do that, we fully embrace and embody and live to the fullest of our human experience, ultimately it gives way to the divine. That divine comes out and takes the lead. And so, know that we must hang on to the roof. It's kind of a survival thing to hang on to the roof. But we must play our music, because that's the thrival part of it. We want to move from survival to thrival. That's the spiritual essence, the spiritual experience that elevates the human experience. And the truth is, it's not an either or. it's a both and. It's a both and. Until you're poofing into the ethers with me, it's a both and. Both human and divine. Now, here's an interesting factoid, kind of a little scientific factoid. We have two centers in our brain. One is the survival center, and one is the creative center. And sometimes, I know you've never experienced this, but sometimes they battle for control, right? That little, that's actually the meaning of the word jihad is a holy war within inside yourself. It's not supposed to be about hurting other people. It's supposed to be a holy war within yourself. And so sometimes it is that. It's that survival center versus the creative center, kind of duking it out, saying, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. But the fact is, they must work together. It's a both and. It's a both and. The survival center tends to react, to protect, and often it's very restrictive in maintaining the status quo. It's a very narrow status quo that it wants to protect. The creative center, on the other hand, listens deeply and discovers and changes and grows and rises above survival mode into thrival mode. It supports us in sharing the music of our soul, the essence of our being, the truth of who we are. The survival center kicks in when we feel threatened or controlled by somebody or something outside of us, or when we feel thwarted in our activities, in our goals, in our dreams, our desires. And so what happens then is that survival center reacts with fright, and it chooses either flight out of fear, or it chooses fight, and it reacts with frustration and anger and striking out at what it believes is the source of the pain. We're seeing a lot of that right now in our divided nation. We're seeing a lot of that. Fear, fight, flight, all of that, as it relates to COVID or politics or the economy or you name it. You name it. The color of the paint on the bumper thing in the parking lot. I mean, people are feeling thwarted, threatened, controlled in some way, and going right to that instinctual survival mode rather than the creative thrival mode. We could change that. We have the power to change that, to choose to do it differently. We have the power to be the tip of the spear that changes it right here, because we're creating a world that works for all. We're a beacon of love and light, and we're opening minds and touching hearts and transforming lives. That's who we are. And so we can be the tip of the spear that chooses thrival over survival, creativity over fear. You willing to do that? I guarantee it's a much more fun ride. Much more. So I invite you to jump on board that one. What happens is that we often stay blind to the root cause of our fear and our anger. And what those root causes are the shoulds and the should nots in our lives. The shoulds and the shouldn'ts that we buy into. And then, unfortunately, we not only buy into them, but we feed them. And we stoke the fire a little bit, and we get ourselves even more churned up and upset. And then we go even deeper into survival rather than creative thrival. You see how that happens? Does that happen to anybody besides me? Yeah, thank you. Glad to know you're in my club. And, I have to say, God works in really powerful and mysterious ways. I picked these topics to talk about way in advance, and not really knowing what I'm going to talk about. And then as things begin to unfold, my life reflects that I need to talk about this because I need to know about it. So I've had a week where I've, been stepping in all this, stepping in it. I've been stepping in it and stepping out of it. So I think that's just, it's kind of God's sense of humor. It's like, hey, I'm going to make this very real for you. So that when you're telling the people, you're telling from experience, not because you read it somewhere. So what I know this week is that survival mode, which is very tempting and very instinctive,
is not a good choice in most cases. Thrival, creative thrival mode, on the other hand, is. And so I highly recommend that you find a way to remind yourself to get there. One of the things I used to do, and I think I want to start doing that again, I had a little heart stone that I would put in my pocket. And so every time I reached in my pocket for my chapstick or whatever, I'd feel that, and I'd go, oh yeah, I can make a positive, good choice. Cool. So whatever that might be for you, you might have a little heart stone, or they call them worry stones or whatever. I don't like that term so much, but reminder stones. Just a little pebble of some sort can remind you, oh yeah, I have a choice. I could choose this rather than that. So we don't want to be blind to the root causes, because we can't do anything about the root causes if we don't know what they are. If we're not treating the causes, we're only treating symptoms, and that doesn't last. So here's a new way of looking at should. I'm going to give you a rational and more scientific definition of should. Anything that has already happened should have happened because all the conditions needed for it to happen were present, and none of the conditions to prevent it were present. Therefore, it should have happened. I know that sounds wackadoodle, but it's the truth. Think about it. I'm going to say it again because it's a little, you're like, well, what? It's like the nail on the blackboard. Anything that has already happened should have happened because all of the conditions needed for it to happen were present, and none of the conditions to prevent it were present. Therefore, it should have happened. It's logical, right? Get it? Psychologist Dr. Maxie Maltzby wrote, "Everything is always exactly as it now should be, even though it's not what I or anyone else wanted to see." And there's the rub, right? So logically, what I just said is the definition of should means that, yeah, something terrible happened. It should have, because all the conditions were there. I didn't want it to. But you know what? It should have happened just the way it did because those conditions arrived at that conclusion or that outcome. So, often we think that should and shouldn't happen is, it's all based on our own preferences. It's like, well, that's not what I wanted to have happen, but somehow all the conditions were present for it to happen, including my own unconscious participation in many cases, which is why it's not a good idea to be unconscious. Because you get caught up in the lava flow of shoulds that you don't want to see. Get it? Yeah. So consciousness is a really good thing. Staying awake and present, a really, really good thing. So when things happen that we think shouldn't, or things don't happen that we think should, based on our likes and preferences, not necessarily on our effort, we suddenly believe that we have the right to get angry and to try to reverse it through playing God. I know best that should never have happened, she said, playing God. Well, the fact is that we don't stop at playing God. We play an angry God. An angry God. Why would we choose to do that? So we play an angry God instead of being at one with God and being co-creative with God. That's the choice. We can play angry God, or we can get co-creative and be at one with God and create the conditions that set up the should that we want. Get it? So we're not powerless in this. We're not victims in this. We are co-creators. We have a lot of power that sometimes we don't use because we go unconscious. So playing the angry God and getting reactive about the shoulds and shouldn'ts is not terribly helpful. The shoulds and the shouldn'ts set us up for sometimes irrational or unreasonable wants and expectations, and then our expectations get dashed, and we get disappointed, and we get hurt and fearful and angry and frustrated. And then the cycle just keeps going. And then, we try to convince ourselves and we try to convince others that this should or shouldn't have happened. 716,000 people should not have died of COVID. But you know what? The conditions to prevent it were not present, and the conditions to cause it were. It could have been different. It could have been different if we seized our power to change the course of things. That's just one, I was going to say tiny example. It's a huge example. It's a huge example of a should, that every condition to set up what has happened with COVID was in place, and the conditions to prevent it were not. But we can change that, and we are changing that. So we have to go back to that scientific, rational definition of should. Anything that has already happened should have happened because the conditions needed for it to happen were present, and none of the conditions to prevent it were there. Therefore, it should have happened. Everything is always exactly as it should be, even though it's not what I or anyone else wants to see. It sets us up to consciously and intentionally respond to what's so when we use that definition. It gives us power, that definition. It sets us up to be conscious and intentional to respond to what's so in our lives or in the world. You know, if our expectation is not met, then it shouldn't have been met because the conditions weren't present for it to be met. And or we didn't perceive the situation rightly, and so we created expectations that were unrealistic. And or we didn't choose rightly to set up the conditions to create the outcomes that we want. All of this is to say we have the power to co-create the experiences of our individual and our collective lives. I'm asking all of us to stand in our power because it will change the course of things dramatically. Who's willing to stand in your power and co-create with Spirit and with one another to create a world that works? It means that we have to stop and examine and evaluate our own thinking, feeling, and believing. You know, too often we're running around unconscious. We don't even know what we think about a certain thing or feel about a certain thing or believe about a certain thing. They're called hidden belief systems. And we can't do a thing about something that's hidden. We have to bring it out from back here into the light. And then we can make choices. We can make serious choices. You know, ask ourselves, what was I thinking and feeling and believing to set the conditions for what just happened? And more importantly, what must I think, feel, and believe to set the conditions for what's wanted? There's the power, guys, and every single one of us has it. And together we have a fire hose of it. You know, we put all our little garden hoses together and make a big old fire hose. That's power. That's power when we get together and we change the course of things. When we change our thinking, we change our lives. We change life itself. You know, when we're coming from that survival center, we react with fear and frustration and anger, which is a very, very normal, instinctive human reaction. But I have to tell you, most of the time it's not helpful. But when we're coming from our creative center, that is helpful because we're having conscious and creative responses through our thinking, our feeling, and believing, and it co-creates conditions for the life we love to live. We can do that. We can create the conditions for the life that we love to live. And then it should happen. It should happen. Some shoulds are good. I want you to focus on the good should. Yeah, the good, that's our new friend. The good should. I'm focused on the good should. We'll get little stickers or something. So, when we are willing to do that, to be at choice, to be conscious, we can change the pattern of our dominant thoughts. And we change the feelings that are the fire of those dominant thoughts. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Teaching the Science of Mind, said, inspiration without application is hallucination. Smart. Think about it. Inspiration without application is hallucination. Nothing is going to happen if you're just sitting around going, wow, I feel so on fire. Get up and move. You gotta move. You got to move it. You can tell I watch cartoon movies. Inspiration without application is hallucination. If we're inspired to experience and express something, we must apply all the tools available to us with our mind, our heart, our soul, our feet, our whole being. All of the tools and the gifts that we've been given, we must use to apply to that inspiration and to bring it to life, to set up all the conditions that should make it happen. Our inner consciousness and our outer actions create the experience of our lives, inside out, inside out. Our consciousness is the cause and the creator of our inner and our outer experience. Our consciousness, which is made up of our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our consciousness is what creates what we feel and live and be inside, as well as what we have outside of us, what we create around us. Our consciousness is the cause of our disappointments when we're out of alignment with Spirit, and it is also the cause of our joys when we are in alignment with Spirit. I vote for choosing alignment. Just a little hint there. Our consciousness directs our actions in support of the good should outcomes that we're looking for. We can make creative choices that support our intentions, our clear intentions, crystal clear intentions. And then those things should happen because the conditions are present for them to become manifest in our lives. I believe that every one of us is called to live the song, the music that is uniquely ours to express. Consciously and intentionally and actively create the conditions in and through and as us, and then to affirm them with our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our consciousness. Our outer experience then will clearly reflect our inner consciousness. If you want to know what's going on inside of you, look at what's going on outside of you. And if you like it, keep doing what you're doing. If you don't, you got to make a new choice. You got to cut a new groove, like we talked about last week. Make some new choices, and it will make some new experiences in your life. And then we should be living the life we love to live. It's simple, but it's not always easy to live the life we love to live. It means we have to stay conscious and present and make clear choices at every moment we have the opportunity to employ all of the tools that we have, all the gifts that we've been given. I'm going to have you just close your eyes briefly. I'll give you a minute to kind of think about some shoulds, some shouldn'ts, and some good shoulds. So begin breathing in deeply and exhaling fully, reminding you to be present to the flow of good in your life. We simply take this moment to go within and do a quick little examination, evaluation, and ask yourself, what shoulds or shouldn'ts am I believing and feeding in my life right now? What shoulds or shouldn'ts am I believing and feeding in my life right now? And I would invite you that if those shoulds or shouldn'ts that you are believing and feeding right now are not really what you want to see and experience, then bring them out from behind into the light and simply release them. Blow them away. Simply release those shoulds and shouldn'ts and create space of grace for a new thought and a new emotion around that new thought, so that you can think and see and feel and literally experience inwardly a new experience. So think about a good should that you would like to bring into your life and see it in your mind's eye and feel it deeply within. Literally experience it. So name the good should in your life and feed that one. Imagine yourself like Tevye, fiddling on the roof. And imagine yourself just balancing gracefully, not needing to hang on tightly to the roof. And imagine yourself playing your music out loud and proud. It's your music. It's your song. It's you. So I invite you this week to make a commitment to yourself to stay conscious and present so that you can choose wisely the shoulds and the shouldn'ts that you feed. As you're ready, begin to bring your awareness back to this time and space. And ever so gently, open your eyes and see rightly. Blessings on your journey of shifting the shoulds and the shouldn'ts in your life. Begin by releasing survival reactions and embracing creative, thrival responses. And so it is. And together we say, thank God within and all around us. Amen.
It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, you and I. It's in every one of us. I just remembered, it's like I've been sleeping for years. But I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through the tears. I've been realizing that I bought this ticket and watching only half of the show. But there is scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who all know what I know. Yeah, and it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. Yeah, why? But it's in every one of us. Every one of us. It's in every one of us. You and I.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Could I have our chaplains come forward, please? Prayer chaplains. Reverend Amy's out in the lobby, I think, and there's Reverend Robbins. So, no, oh, there's Reverend Amy. Stand up, Amy. So all of these folks are, yes, let's thank them. All of these folks are available to you at the close of the service for a quick 1-minute miracle sort of prayer to shift the shoulds in your life or whatever else it is that you would like some prayer support with. Also, they can make private appointments with you. So please partake of the service that they offer. It's very, very powerful. So I thank them for that. Also want to let you know that we have our Wednesday evening music and inspiration service, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. It's a really lovely service. If you haven't experienced it, try it. You might like it. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do during the week. And this week, the theme is forgiveness. That's a good thing to do before Thanksgiving, guys. Just saying. Especially if you're going to be with family. You probably want to get that work done before you get there. And the music will be brought to you by Phil Lieber and me. And so I want to thank you for joining your energy with ours this morning here, and also those of you watching on the live stream. I love that we're back doing in-person gatherings, not just this, but the other activities that we have. And, you know, we're starting out safe and small, but you know what? We are on the move. We are moving forward. Do you feel it? Do you feel the energy moving forward? Yeah, it's important. That's good. That's good. That's good, because this should be happening. And it is. So that's wonderful. So thank you for participating in creating the conditions that make this the good should. We appreciate it. Just want to say that this is also an opportunity for us to know that we can participate in the generous flow of spiritual abundance that blesses each and every single one of us through that divine circulation of giving and receiving. And so rather than passing the basket, that's part of our safety measures, you'll have some lovely smiling people. You have to take my word for it because they're wearing masks, but they are smiling behind the masks. And they will receive your gifts, whatever they may be. It could be a blessing, it could be a prayer, it could be, you know, an actual physical gift that you're putting in. And if that's, if you've already sent it in or whatever, at least wave your hand over the
over the offering bowl and be part of the circulation of blessing, okay? So we appreciate what you give to support our spiritual community so that we can continue to support you and others. And so let's affirm that together. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. All right, so we'll do that on the way out, and we will now do our prayer for protection, followed by the peace song. And remember, you're going to hold your hands up, not hold each other's hands, right? Excellent. All right, you ready? So let's stand up for this. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God, our Creator, family all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with